perfectly fine. So
I want to take a picture of you.
Yeah?
To have one of my idols in the bar. Sorry. Perfect.
Yeah, probably doesn't work in front of the window, no? But we can do...
Oh no, you look great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's legendary. Amazing, man. So we can just hang around here. If you want to sit, you can sit. If you want to make drinks, you can make drinks.
Shall I sit with you there?
However you feel comfortable. However you feel comfortable.
I'll sit down. I'll be standing all day. So
yeah. What have you got to do there? Are you opening?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I have now some paperwork, and then I'm opening the bar.
Yeah. And when did you open?
We reopened on the 2nd of September. So it's been now 2 weeks roughly. So far so good.
And you said you're open in the front, but not the back.
Yeah. So we're running only this bar. We've been very lucky. So during the lockdown, we applied for all the extensions we could because that was the plan. So we have now, little outside seating, which helps a lot. And
all the way along?
Yes, all the way along the unit.
Nice.
So that's quite sweet, and it just makes it more welcoming.
What's the difference between the front? I mean, I've been here before, but can you explain the difference between this side and the back, which is
the dark side,
the awesome side? Well, not to say this isn't awesome. I haven't had a drink here though yet.
No, so basically the front bit, the concept, we call it elementary. So from the name already, it indicates everything is as simple as possible, but not basic. So there's a lot of work which goes into making those drinks. Yeah. But when you serve them, it's super fast. So we have these massive freezers at the back bar. They are full of glassware already with bespoke cut ice.
Nice.
All the thing the bartender does, take the glass, pour the drink.
Do you have one? Can we have a look?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. So those that don't know where we are, we're at Taya and Elementary, which is Alex's bar. You've been open for how long?
For a year and something.
For a year and something. If you come to London, you've got to come check it out.
So this is how it goes.
There you go.
You just open a glass, pour the drink, and this is your Palo Santo Gimlet.
Fantastic, look at that! Look at that! The cocktail is made, and that's on draft as well.
Yes, yeah. So it's basically over here, everything is very informal. It's, all day operation, people come and hang out, you take your meeting, you have a drink. If you doing work, you have a bottomless coffee, so we do bottomless filter from Square Mile. We have a little bottle shop, so you can buy all of our drinks as well to take home. And it's very relaxing. I love very jovial atmosphere.
I love the bottles you have here, just to show the people, like, everything is branded sort of like this, basically, right?
Indeed, yeah.
With, this is obviously hand sanitizer. Well, might as well while we're here. But this is the only back bar that you have, right? This is the only brands on display.
Initially, we started we aim to buy alcohol where possible in bulk. It's not possible across all the categories because you have some legal restrictions. Certain things need to be bottled at the place of the origin. But a lot of the stuff was in the unbranded bottles, and we realized that a lot of people didn't even understood that this was a bar. Wow. So I think the first few months we lost a little bit of potential.
Really?
Yes, because the design is. If you look at it from the outside, it would be also probably a reception of some office building.
Do you know what? When I first walked in, when I first saw the place, it reminded me of like a posh sort of fast food, but fast drinks counter here, and I was like, this is super cool. Like the design, you guys can't see it, but the design is great. The menu is up there. Everything is quick.
It very much was the intention. When we've been designing the venues, both concepts, like the only condition was where do we want to go out? How do we want to be drinking?
This is delicious, by the way.
Thank you. It was very selfish, and I think it's the best thing to do, because if you have opinion about everything, then either people will love it or they will hate it. But it has a soul. Sure. Every little detail has a story behind it. So that was very important for us.
You get that feeling whenever I come here, and you can feel that it's you and Monica, you know, like it's like this is what we wanted to do. And I think that's what people miss a lot of the time in bars, is that they kind of do what they think is necessary, whereas we need more stuff like this, where you've just kind of gone, let's open the boundaries and go outside the box and do something completely different. And I think it's great. Can you tell me about the draft and how this works?
Yeah, so basically behind the wall, which you see here, behind the back bar, there's a massive fridge with kegs, and we run a Python all the way here. So essentially all our kegs are refrigerated, and on the top of the fridge we have 2 chillers. Yeah. So one is for below zero, which is these things, and then for beer, wine, spirits, obviously you need to be just above zero.
And you beer, wine, spirit, obviously beer through that. Wine as well?
Indeed, yeah. So we do beer, wine, sake, kombucha on draft.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah. So
sorry, go on.
Yeah, you go on.
No, I was going to say, like, I was just looking at some of the cocktails before you arrived, and you've got the core, which I'm guessing is like classics.
Indeed, core is classics interpreted by our team.
Yeah.
Season is always, you know, drinks with some sort of seasonal ingredients we enjoy working with at that particular time of the year. Collabs is basically things we do with friends. So, you know, Rudy Paparazzi, Rudy Caro is our friend, and people love this shot as well. It's basically half Montenegro, half Mezcal.
Which one? Sorry, the
Rudy Paparazzi. Yeah.
It's what, half Montenegro
and half Mezcal.
Fantastic.
Cosmopolitan Ice Pop is a Cosmopolitan as an ice pop. So everything you see here, like, it's well-recognized classics, and we infuse them with our little flavor perspective.
How do you make the Cosmopolitan as an ice pop? Because alcohol, how does it?
Yeah, so obviously we rework the recipe. Essentially, it's Absolute Elix, Muyukinoto, there's cranberry, and instead of citrus, we use Timur, because you need to up some of the sugar content, so it freezes, gives you the right texture.
And then you've got to freeze it by like -20 or something.
Exactly. So it goes -20 first, and after it's been frozen, then we put in the service freezer, which is at -10. So when you actually get it, it starts to melt, and you can enjoy it.
Fantastic. See? So much cool stuff, man. There's something I've always wanted to ask you as well. Now, I looked this up on the tattoo on the back of your hand, the EE. Now, I've looked this up a couple of times, and I'm getting different answers, and I looked it up again, and it actually gave me the meaning is the surprise, the noise, and sorry, it's Northern English, and it's a noise that people make when they're surprised. But I don't think that's why you've got that on your hand. So can you explain to me?
Oh, this is a cool one. I'm going to use that. But actually, for us, it was elementary and Tailleur. Those two spaces, the only thing they have in common, because they are so distinctively different, is the ease in the name. So Tailleur with the accent is for the back, and the other one is for the front. And
so that's fairly new, because I've noticed that for a while now.
I had it since we started to work on this project. It was my motivation to go through the pain.
Wow.
and a daily reminder: do more work, do more work, push more.
It's a nice little connection. I like it. It's good. Now, I mean, I notice it a lot because, I mean, you just have to open up Imbibe magazine or Class magazine or Top 100, which you've just placed like first. No,
Monica was first.
Oh, Monica was first. What, you were second, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to open any publication, and you're there, you know, doing so much stuff. You know, how does this affect you? Like, so obviously, people behind the camera watching this now will be like, they'll have a vision of you and your life, and you know, you're always in the magazines, you're always in the public eye. How does it affect you? How do you like it or dislike it?
I actually don't like media attention whatsoever. I hate public speaking. So I always need to have a shot before I speak.
What shot do you have?
Anything.
Anything available?
Yeah, anything available. But I mean, I guess we enjoy a lot of coverage because we are always very active. We always do projects. You know, like we've been open for 2 weeks, and we drop special collaboration of wine, which is made exclusively for the bar. We drop T-shirts. So there's always a lot of different stuff which we're doing because we love it. We love this industry. We love the business, and we love the nightlife, and I think that's purely because, like,
you constantly move. I mean,
You're constantly doing stuff, and that's why you get the attention.
and I think, you're not only constantly just doing stuff, you're doing different stuff, like a great cocktail literally served in 10 seconds. 10 seconds, where all the magic, I suppose, has been done behind the scenes. And that's the same for Taya as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, very much.
Because you've got, whenever I have a drink there, the majority you get is a stir and a serve. Is that right?
You know what? Many people say that, but it's actually a coincidence, because I think the few times you've been here, there was a lot of those drinks. But we have days. So we have days when there's no shaken cocktail, because that day basically we didn't write a recipe for a shaken drink.
Because you change the menu every day, right?
And then you have one night you have like a 3 shaken drinks, so it's shaking going on constantly, and people are, did you change the concept?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So basically, because it changes every single day in Thai, sometimes it happens that everything is either built or stirred, and you never see a shaken drink. And then one day, when there's a lot of amazing fruits, you suddenly have all these shaken drinks. So it's never been a part of concept, but interestingly enough, a lot of people pick up on it. Like, oh, is this only a stirred concept? Right. That would be such a stupid concept.
But the thing is that, how long have you been bartending for?
I'm 21 now. 16. No,
roughly.
Roughly, all my life. I actually never done any other job.
Really?
So, yeah. So I mean, I've been always,
behind the bar,
barback, waiter, cleaner, KP, pot wash.
And where did you start? You're from Slovakia, is that right?
I'm from the Czech Republic. We used to be together as a federation. I studied back home actually. I naturally fall into it. I never intended to be a bartender. I basically needed to make money and survive somehow. So I fall into hospitality. I imagine like many other young people.
Sure.
Back then that was not a cool job. It was the only job you could get.
Yeah.
And usually you would get paid less than minimum wage.
Yeah. And it's like they say you're going to make money from tips. You're like, you're not going to make money from tips.
Yeah.
So you started in Czech Republic.
Is it okay if I just open for a moment?
Of course you can. I'm going to drink this cocktail. But I can't remember what we was chatting about, but you were doing bottled cocktails during lockdown. How was it going with the bottled cocktails, was it? Or make it yourself?
It's bottled cocktails. We always had a plan to do like a bottled cocktails to take away, the sort of Thai at home experience, if you like. And when lockdown happened, we just realized how flawed our business model was. Mm-hmm. So, everything we do is very on-trade heavy. All our consulting depends on the on-trade, or is for on-trade brands,
right?
Or, we consult on projects which are on-trade. So before the lockdown, we lost that, and then when everything collapsed here in the terms of sales, we are like, fuck.
What can we do?
We had 2 legs, and they've been all cut off.
Yeah.
Same Muyu, our liqueurs, they are heavily on-trade.
Yeah.
So, and it's a very young brand. So, that collapsed as well. So we are like, okay, what can we do, which we know how to do it. And that's how we kind of jumpstart our business plan and did everything 2 years earlier.
Just get it out there.
Just get out there. And it was a massive learning curve, because there was a lot of things, we didn't know.
Sure.
How to program a barcode.
Really?
Blah, blah, blah. So there was a lot of learning on the technical and the business side. So during the lockdown, we got like 10 different shops across London to stock them. We have whiskey exchange. We have a Top Giver. Massive shout out of Top Giver. Guys help us so much. Top Giver, Brody, Mea, and Max Wenning.
Fantastic.
They have this wine, restaurant, bar, and an online shop. And they supported many people in the industry during the lockdown. So that was really fantastic. And now we're working together, proper distributor, and really take it to the next level.
Nice. So it's kind of catapulted that part of the business.
Absolutely.
Because of the lockdown.
Yeah. We literally basically we had to do a year of work in a couple of months. So,
you had the time, no?
no, absolutely. But it was like in the morning you are producing here, sanitizing bottles, making the drinks, distilling on the tabak, then bottling it, then you're cycling around making deliveries,
wow,
doing tasting. So you are producer, brand ambassador, sales representative,
everything, or cleaner,
and an accountant.
An accountant, wow.
Everything but service. So I learned during the lockdown once again, and I had the same thing after I left from Artisan. It's like I realized how much I enjoy to be in service and surrounded by people.
Really?
Yeah. So I learned again. It's like all the cleaning, all the prep, no people. Oh, it was sad.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. It's and the Artisan, you were there for 5 years, was that?
No, I've been there for almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years?
I've been there much longer.
I think people, I mean, maybe I assume 5 because you guys got 5 years in a row best bar, right?
No, 4. I think we were
4 years.
4. But I
getting all my facts wrong.
No. But I think it is because a lot of people didn't know about Artisan and myself until we started to be recognized with some of these awards. So
right.
I think the World's Best Menu, which was the first award we ever got from Tales of the Cocktail, we got that in 2012.
Right.
But I started 2006, 2007 in the bar.
Okay.
So there was many years of work and getting consistency right and doing cool things up until it was recognized.
How did you get? Because it was 4 years in a row. It was best bar, right? Is that right?
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
I mean, that's quite an achievement. I mean, if I dare I say it definitely, tell me if I'm wrong, catapulted yourself and Simone into the limelight. You know what I mean?
Look, it definitely changed our life for better. It definitely catapulted us out there. But like one thing, Simo and myself, we have about it is we always kind of refuse those awards and we want to stay the people we are. And I think a lot of the success we had is because we haven't been aiming for those awards, but we were aiming to be happy and to do the things we enjoy. And we spoke about it earlier, because we always do a lot of stuff with team at Artisan, we were always doing a lot of stuff. And that was the most important thing. It was. I only got to go there a few times. Excuse me, when you guys were there, and I remember, the experience that you gave with each cocktail was, as funnily enough, actually, when I was with the World Flair Association, we tried to do a competition which involved a product experience. So the idea was that at the end of the final round of the competition, they had to do a product experience with the cocktail. Essentially, the winner was a guy called Oliver Diak who popped a balloon with some stuff that came over the drink, which I think you guys did something similar in the Artisan as well. But my point is that before that competition, you guys were doing that in the Artisan already, with the Salvador Dali, the elephant, and the story that was given with the cocktail, and how the drink was served. How did you create these? Who thought about doing stuff like this? Because the whole team, the whole team. Obviously back then, I think the Artisan times, the bar scene was very different in the terms of what was in. I mean, I always compare it to like a development of cuisine. You have these crazy molecular things, and then it moves into the new Nordic, and we see the same thing in the bars. You have all these mental cells with stories and very elaborated menus, and from that you get a complete counter reaction. Whilst now everything is very minimal, simple, but very focused on the liquid. Yes, because perhaps previously the focus on the liquid has been sometimes a little bit
not so much focus. Let's say
not so much in the focus. I like to think that all of our things has always been main focus on the flavor, but all the theatrics that basically made people completely forget about what they were.
They're just like, woohoo! Smoke, fire, elephants.
We want the panda.
But it's quite a contrast. Like when you go to the Artisan, you had that, and now you come here. And I mean, the simplicity of this drink, even the glass simple, the ice simple, the pour simple, the taste fantastic. What was the drink?
This is the Palo Santo Gimlet. So it's a gin, Palo Santo. There's some citrus, touch of sherry, and touch of Lillet Blanc.
And what do you use for citrus, like super sour or something like this?
No, it's actually our own on a blend of different acids.
Of course, of course. Because you basically pretty much make most of your own ingredients here, right?
Where possible. I mean, we are not the type of place where like, oh, we make everything house-made. It's like a lot of the things we make ourselves because they don't exist on the market.
Right, because you were saying...
If it was on the market, I would just buy it. I can't be bothered to make it.
Gap in the market. Any distributors out there, if you need anything Rotovap...
Palo Santo cordials.
Some Palo Santo cordials. But you may only be selling it to Taya and Elementary, you know?
Nobody else cares.
But you've got some equipment here, which probably not many bars. You've got a Rotovap, right? And
yeah, I think we have pretty much everything which is now sort of considered to be the standard equipment of a modern bar.
Wow.
We keep it out of the sight, you know. Nobody gives a fuck about how I was extracting Palo Santo and blah, 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 blah.
They do. I do. No. I know what you mean, though. They just want...
If you ask, we're happy to explain.
For sure.
But I will never bother anyone with, you know, extracting flavor, blah, blah, blah. Because this thing takes 10 seconds.
Sure.
When you hear at the bar. The extraction itself takes 72 hours.
Wow.
You know? So
I think people don't realize that as well. And I've seen this trend come in. I mean, obviously, people in the bar world have seen it as well. You know, like when I started, you had June Bugs, Cosmopolitans, Long Island Iced Tea. It was TGI Fridays ruling the roost on cocktails, and then we went through this sort of phase of quite out there cocktails. You know, with a lot of decoration and design, which we're still seeing a lot of. And now, as you said, you know, the simplicity of a drink and focusing a lot more on the liquid. And we're seeing this in a lot of bars worldwide. What do you think the next stage is? Do you think it's going to stay like this, or do you think it's going to be something else? Or you want to keep it secret?
I mean, I think everything always produces a reaction. But I think overall what you see happening in London, and I think London is the very best example of, because it's the most diverse bar scene in the world still today, is what happened in London. You had all these tendencies and different schools of thought, different philosophies of how to go around cocktail. And now you still have bars where you have this crazy, insane, over-the-top decoration, beautifully presented drinks, but then you have you know, completely local concept, zero waste like Scout. Then you have amazing, much more classic bars like Swift. You have all the minimalistic things of Untitled. So in London you have the freedom to choose, and people are like not afraid to be following trends. Marian has his own style, and he will be doing it. And he's 2 minutes from us.
Exactly,
here.
Literally up there. Yeah.
You know, absolutely amazing bar. It's like a day and night, black and white compared to us.
For sure.
But people are just comfortable with it. There's audience there. As long as you do a great thing, you will have an audience in London.
It's so true, and I mean, when I think about the next trends, at the end of the day, it's going to be you and Marion and Simone and anybody else who's going to be the leader of those trends. So essentially, whatever it is that you guys end up doing next, I think that's going to end up being the next trends. I mean, I do think myself that we're seeing a rise in the customer service. You know, for many years behind the bar, you had your drink, there you go, thanks very much. Now we're seeing a lot more people want more of that experience. I mean, you guys deliver the experience in a very, very different way. Marion delivers it in a very different way with the cocktails and whatever else. And then you've got people doing little craft flair moves and things like this. And it's interesting for me to see the differences of what everyone is doing. Do you think that, you know, your customer service and things like that is going to develop into something else? Do you think you guys will?
I mean, it's constantly evolving, and this space, Elementary, for us is a great example, because my vision at the beginning, which was quite wrong, was like there's only one bartender, you order at the bar, you know, if the bartender has the time, they will bring it to you, or you just take it here, you pay, and it was much more like a pubby kind of service and atmosphere, and it worked. okay, but then COVID happened, and everything is different. So now we have one extra member of staff. We do a table service. We spend so much more time with the guests, and you actually see it. So like for like sales in the front space are actually better than what they used to be, because there's so much more attention.
Right.
As before, this was let's have a quick round of beers, one sip martinis, and Negroni, and I'm out of here.
Right.
So now people spend so much more time. It has changed, and I think as an operator, you just need to listen, to your guests and tweak those little things. A lot of people told us, oh, the front feels a little bit cold, so we added all these decorations. We have changed a little bit the paint, how the walls are painted, so slightly different color scheme, still staying true to the brand. But always listening to your community.
Sure.
You get a lot of information. A big corporation would have to organize a focus group and spend 100 grand. So if you just chat with the guests at the bar, they will give you a lot of information others would pay for.
Makes a big difference, huh? The customer service. Actually, you were just saying to me, Alex was just saying to me how you've got these new designs, and you was talking about, and can I lift one of these up?
Yeah, absolutely.
The drip trays, which are, they can see that, there you go, custom made for the bar.
Indeed.
And it's also on the uniform of the staff as well, right?
Yeah, so this is our a signature pattern. Both Monica and myself, we are not very designy, and we don't dress up fancy, but we love good design.
Would you call yourselves minimalists?
In a way, probably.
Yeah.
Monica is from Norway, so definitely there's a lot of Nordic influence.
Right.
There's generally by the way how we are as a people, we are very practical people. I would like to think. So we're very practical, minimalist. Of course, often you struggle with money, so we say you need to be a little bit punk as well. So we spend the money where it was important. So this is made by our friends. It's a beautiful wooden bar top. What you see underneath, this is the cheapest bricks we could get, and we painted them ourselves.
But it works, like some people spend gazillions on a bar top on a bar front,
and then they cannot get the height right, or you don't have a space for your legs.
And it's just it's crap. But but this is, you were saying something about it's a dot and then a line.
So basically the concept of the bar, and I'll show to the guys, is that everything starts with an idea.
Sure.
An idea is like a virus, no? Idea, the moment you say an idea aloud or in your head, it starts to multiply and evolve. So you start from a single idea, single dot.
Yeah.
The dot becomes a line.
Yeah.
And then the line starts to spin and create this crazy zigzag. And that's very much the philosophy of this place, always evolving. You never stand still.
I've seen that just from coming here a couple of different times, and I'm a true believer in if I have an idea, I think about it a lot, but I try not to talk about it a lot, because I believe that if you talk about, with the person you're doing it with, obviously, but you have a lot of people that say, oh, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to go to the gym.
I've been to the gym. That's what you say.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Because if you say that I'm going, you're never going to go, because you're always going. So, if you've got an idea, is no point telling everybody. I believe that if you want to tell everyone, tell them by doing it.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if you follow the similar philosophy, but it's this.
No, you couldn't be more right. I absolutely agree.
So what we were talking about earlier was your roots, where you started in Czech Republic.
Indeed.
And then you came over to the UK from the Czech, or?
I'd been in UK before, but actually when I was 18, I went to United States under this exchange student program, and I used to work as a KP,
right,
as a kitchen porter. Ironically, I do it now after we reopen, because we cannot afford
a full circle.
A full circle. All your life you dream to open up your own spot, and then you end up with the very first job you ever had.
But that's what happens when you open your own place. At the end of the day,
I have so much respect for the people, because I know that at some point I hope I won't be doing it every night, But like now, every night to be closing a pot wash is very humbling experience.
Yeah, for sure, it's good. It brings you back down to where you started from.
Scrubbing the pans.
Scrubbing the plans, unblocking the toilets, cleaning whatever it may be. And then, so after the UK, the US, you came to the UK? Or?
I came actually, I was hopping. So I was in the US twice. I was at uni in Barcelona. I had a...
You speak Spanish?
I'm still learning.
And then, sorry, I interrupted.
And I've been in Japan, so I've been hopping a lot. I changed a lot of different countries, and then when I came to UK, when I got the job at Artisan, this was the first time I think I spent the most in one country.
Right.
And
that was straight to bartending, or did you have to bar back first over there and then?
Oh, I've been always doing a lot of jobs. I was talking to someone recently because they were asking me like, oh, how come people know so little about your past? I was like, Artisan, so everybody always connects me with it. But also, I was never really serious about bartending that much. I only discovered and fueled the passion here, because when I was growing up, I used to do illegal graffiti. So the reason why I started to travel all around the world and trying to change all these different countries was to paint subway trains.
Is this your work here?
No, this is a friend of mine.
Okay. But yeah,
but you can see it throughout.
Sure, I mean, you can see it on your tattoos as well. I think some people sometimes get surprised that you have so many tattoos if they don't know you and they see your bar and then they see your tattoos. But what was your tag? What was your graffiti tag? I can't read it, sorry. Look at me. What is this?
I still might have some liabilities, so it's better.
Okay. Let's cut that one out.
No, but basically this was the thing, I would be barbecuing or bartending. Even back home when I was bartending, it was perfect time. You finish 3 o'clock in the morning and then go to the yard to make it.
There you go. Don't go graffitiing trains, by the way. That doesn't get you a great bar. It gets you hard work gets you a great bar, Did you ever dabble in any flair before during your career?
Of course. I mean, look. You probably don't know, even though I told you, I told Nicolas Saint-Jean, the only reason why I end up in this style of bars is because I was so shit at flair. And I was always trying to flair. Already when I was in US, I had my, the plastic bottles, so I was always practicing in the park, but it was just so bad. With Simone, we used to go a lot to Roadhouse, so I was always very inspired.
Wow.
And I think until today, there are some small things which we have actually taken from people like yourselves. It was very inspiring for us, how do you put that in the work. So I think I've been always very sad that flair and the rest of the bar scene has been so separated. Both scenes went to this extreme. Whilst they actually incredibly inspired each other. People bounce off ideas from you guys, what you guys been doing, and we applied it in small little ways.
And vice versa, for sure. We learn from what you guys are doing, big time.
So it's super nice to have this kind of fluid dialogue about bars.
Yeah. I mean, the flair is definitely one of those things. I mean, over the years, I've been a part of let's say, the discussion or the argument or the separation. And the word flair, as soon as people say flair, they imagine, the view is the 3 bottles juggling, plastic bottles, making a shit cocktail behind a bar, which happens a lot, But one thing we're seeing a lot now is this, let's call it's the craft flair movement, it's working flair basically, which is a lot of bar, there's a guy called Vitaly Kolpin who's going, do you know Vitaly?
Yeah.
He does craft bar skills. So he's not using the word flair, very smart. Craft bar skills, and he's just teaching really simple moves.
He has an Instagram channel where he does all the little things.
Yeah. He does stuff with spoons and jiggers and strainers, and we're seeing that, develop so much behind the bar now. We see it in Oriole, they do little spins with the shakers, and you see it in Savoy, and they do a twist with the spoon. And I think some people who don't even call themselves a flair bartender, they flair without even knowing it.
Yeah.
Because if you look at flair, it's this it's so many different extremes. Like we were talking about, you've got your sort of simple cocktails here, and you've got the more extravagant cocktails from the Gibson. You've got your extravagant flair at the Roadhouse.
Marian used to be a flair bartender as well.
Yeah.
Same Eric Lorenz, you know, so everybody, I think, especially my generation, we've been very heavily affected by it, and to this day, we very much respect it. Whilst I think some of the younger generations, they have this resentment, which I never understood. It was the first thing when we went to, you know, for us, when Simon, when we went in the US for work, we was like, with the brand people, can you please take us to Carnival Court? It was ultra fun night, you know.
Carnival Court's amazing though, huh?
Yeah.
It is the epitome of the extreme flair bar, and I mean,
for us it was the same thing, you know. The first time we've been in Paris, we were going to Harry's bar.
Yeah, just the same. Yeah, you've got to go and see it.
It's the same thing, you know. The first time going to Roadhouse, for me, I was so pumped.
Yeah. It's these iconic places. You've got to go and check them out. But yeah, it's interesting because you said, you know, there's a lot of people who still have the reservations about it and that, and it will always happen. You know, there's some people who are like, there's people that probably just want a beer. They don't want a nice, you know, beautifully crafted cocktail. They're just like, just give me a beer. So if everybody thought the same, it would be boring. So it's necessary to have these different views and different opinions. But it's interesting you say about Eric and Marian. I did a chat with Miles Cunliffe.
Yeah, Miles.
And he mentioned how they were going, when they started and moved to the UK, and if Marian and Eric ever watch this, maybe they can confirm or deny, I don't know, but they were going to do all the different schools to basically pick up as much information as possible, which I think is beautiful, you know, because the one thing that was taught to me at a very young age about bartending is that if you think you know everything, you're going to be stuck, because
massive issue.
You're going to have a big issue, because at the end of the day, the bar trade. You need to go. No. Sorry. But at the end of the day, the bar trade is constantly evolving. I mean, your bar is a testament to that, basically. Whereas if, you know, 20 years ago, TGI Fridays was the best cocktail bar, now you're coming to a place where it's completely different. You know, even your bar stations.
Yet we still draw a lot of stuff like on TGI Fridays.
For sure.
Like the little indication of size of the glass of the menu. You know, like so things repeat, things get interpreted slightly different way. You know, and we had people, they were like, oh, this is so innovative. I was like, what did you do in 90s? What have you been thinking? What happened?
Exactly, you know. But tell us about the bar station you've got back there. I'm gonna film a little bit later so that people
absolutely.
can see it. Does it have a name?
Yes, it is. It's called Hexagon. So it's a Hexagon bar station.
Yeah.
It was designed by myself and Monica.
Yeah.
Monica, myself. And we have built it in collaboration with guys from Oslo, Norway, called Behind Bars Agency. Best bar stations in the world. We made it a reality with Behind Bars because it is quite a complicated setup in the terms of production. Not every factory is able to do it. And the idea of it is essentially to produce a modular bar station with ultimate flexibility. So it consists of series of different hexagons which act either as a worktop or, if you flip them around, as a storage. And you as a bartender set it up according to your needs. What is on the menu, what is in the season, do you have more iced drinks, do you have more hot drinks?
Sure.
Whatever it is, you know, which kind of learning type of person are you? Do you work in a linear way or do you work circularly? Are you left-handed or right-handed? You know, I always felt like every station is set up for right-handed people, and then the left-handed guy gets a lot of shit for being slower, whilst, you know, essentially, you know, he's set up bad to start with.
Do you see the staff moving it around to their specs
a lot? Oh my God, completely.
How was it at the beginning then? Were they like
It got some, the first 2 weeks, it got some kind of time to get used to it because it's completely different way of operating.
Sure.
So, you know, it looks like you're giving back to someone, but you're actually looking after the other side of the bar and the guy across you. So it's a very different system of working.
Sure.
But like now, time later, people say I would never go to work on a normal station again.
Wow.
So when we've been designing this bar station, we were looking at things like flexibility, storage maximization, ultimate flexibility. And we came across an article about design, which said that any great design is always inspired by nature. You see it from racing cars, Formula One, which are inspired by the shapes of the birds. All of these points led us to the most perfect shape which appears in the nature, which is hexagon. So the station consists of these hexagons, which either can act as a working top, or if you flick them, they are working as a storage. Now the genius behind it is that you can obviously set it up how you want. We have all these different inserts which can create the holding stuff for your tools, but also if you look at it, a hexagon can hold more bottles together if they have the same shape than any other thing, any other shape in the nature. So one hexagon takes 7 bottles. Now show me how long speed rail you need for 7 bottles.
Well, let's have a look. Because you've got 7 bottles sort of down there.
I can put them up here for you. Like that.
It's a space saver as well as a practicality. There you go. Yeah.
So I fit all of these in here. So sometimes people are like, oh, you have so few things in the station. It's like, no, we actually have quite a lot of stuff. It's just very efficiently stored.
It's amazing.
You have a big sink, to make preps, because we process a large amount of fruits and veg. And the way how you work is that the menu is split between 2 bartenders, like 2 sections of the kitchen, and each bartender, executes a part of that menu. So every drink which comes out is perfect and consistent, made by one bartender, one chef, if you like.
And they can obviously stand wherever they want. They can kind of work.
Indeed, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people you stick close to the sink, so you set up your station, you work here, and then when you need the glassware, we have these flexi freezers down here. This is obviously switch off now, but normally this is at -20 already with ice. So you work here, you finish your drink, you put it on the pass, pour it out, put a garnish if there needs to be, and it goes to the guest.
Superb.
It is one of those things that when I first saw it, I was like, really? Because people will go, fine, and you turn around, you make the drink. So going back to TGI Fridays, people go, well, you put it in your back. But in terms of when I've been here and been served by you guys, it makes no difference. It makes no difference.
No, but also in a normal bar, you would give back to people more often, because we have 2 bartenders, and there's always one bartender having eye contact with this part of the bar and the other one with this part of the bar.
Right.
And there's somebody always available to serve you. So I would argue that if you work in a single station, you would actually give back to the guest much more.
But yeah, we're talking about the pushing the boundaries and doing something different. I mean, I'm always about TGI Fridays has taught me my bread and butter. So I get stuck talking about not that I know it, but I get stuck on that kind of setup, which still works. The speed rail, ISO, and everything else. But it's definitely an innovative design. So that's what keeps putting you guys in front of magazines and everything else. So, and what about obviously not right now, but in the future, a second Taya, a second elementary?
You know what? We definitely are open for a scale up, but first of all, we need to make sure everything works here.
Sure.
Because we've been very fortunate. We launched, massive hype. The venue is packed. We're making great money. We had an insane month in October last week. We made more money in February than we made in October, which was like, what the fuck is happening?
Hang on, February just gone?
This gone, and we didn't have any events or anything. It was just like, it was busy and it was great. And then the fucking COVID happens and everything collapsed. And now it is like, how do you open second time and how do you hype it again?
Sure.
It's very difficult because every bar has usually only one shot.
Right.
And we're trying now a second shot. So it will take so much more work to bring it to where it has been once. And I just hope that we can survive and ride it out.
Me too.
Because
Because sorry to interrupt. When I get asked by a lot of friends that come over to the UK, which bars shall I visit? And I always had a list. And since I've been coming here, it's always at the top of the list. You have to go and check this one out. You have to go and check this one out because you're doing great stuff. But sorry, you were going to say something?
No. I just want to be very honest. The situation is super shit.
Yeah.
And we might be now.
But you do food here as well.
Yeah. So because the concept is always changing, we always have always changing kitchen menu program residency, if you like. At the beginning, we started with Tata Eatery and the famous Katsu Santo. We obviously have the kitchen counter where we serve tasting menu. Now, since 2nd of September, for 2 weeks now, we have Fabian and Max of Kitchen FM. Previously, the guys work at Frenchy, Poland Street, bunch of other well-known places, and they brought what I find very exciting.
What kind of food are they
different. It's basically modern European, so imagine you do your classic kitchen training, and then you infuse it with all the different cuisines of London.
Wow.
So, you take a little bit from North London. It's super cool, very, very exciting, and the small plates the guys do, it's like, for me, this is the best drinking food ever.
What was I going to say is, how often do you change the chef then? Is it every 6 months?
We aim for a year.
Right.
Just because to be resetting kitchen, writing a new food policy every time, but there's so much legal stuff you need to do.
Food is a lot more complicated than drink sometimes.
But it's I really love working with the kitchen, and let's see where it takes us. Food is definitely a big part of what we do, and we love to eat when we go to bars. And I think in the UK it's always kind of underappreciated and often ignored, whilst in many other countries, like if you go to bars in New York, they always have a very good standard of food. And I really enjoy that, and that's the kind of bar I want to go to.
I agree, totally agree, and I can testament to sing your praises again, man. Like the food I had when I came here before was delicious. The sandwich, what was it called? The
Santo.
The Santo. It's pork, isn't it?
Yes,
Pork and this sort of sweet white bread with the crusts cut off. Delicious. Anyway,
thank you so much,
Alex. Thank you so much indeed. I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe I always ask for everybody if they wanted to do another one in the future. So I hope one day we can do another one. Maybe with you and Monica together would be awesome. I've never done like a.
She'd love it.
Would be I mean, congratulations on top 100, 1 and 2. I mean, keep doing what you're doing, and I really hope that you guys stay here. I'd love to bring the students down here and see what is possible behind the bar. So, is there anything that you want to say to all the lovely people who are out here watching?
Well, I just want to thank you for inspiring of many generations. So thank you very
much
all
indeed.
of that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks.